Biba.
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks. Really nice to see you guys again.
So without much ado, I want to welcome Camilla Nontra.
Yay!
Oh my goodness. I should come to you every day when I need.
Correct. This is Sudan.
Wow.
Sudan. Believe it or not, Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt.
Interesting.
Begin to think in a Pan-African way, because they now see that their conditions are not just about that local space, but the condition is linked to all of the other.
Hello. Good morning, everyone from California. Good afternoon if you live on the East Coast. Good evening if you live in the GMT time zone. Excuse me, let me change the settings here. Oops, no. There we go. Well, welcome to the Pan Africana show. My name is Fred, and co-hosting with my co-hosts, and co-hostess Nkechi and Jesse. Nkechi will be joining us shortly. I want to start by thanking God. By Him we live, we move, and have our being. How you doing, bro?
It's been a pretty rough week, but I'm still hanging in here. As we alluded to last week, this week it was the confirmation hearings for Ketanji Brown Jackson. What we saw is one of the most highly qualified judges in the world undergo questions by people who aren't really worthy of holding the candle in the same room as her. And get through it and make it look easy, despite the fact that everybody black watching it was like white supremacy for three solid days of white supremacy. And then now we are waiting for the April 4th vote. We've already got a number of different conservative senators who have come out and said they're not voting for her with whatever cockamamie excuse that
we know what it is.
Yes, absolutely. This morning I've been on Twitter rants with Ben Sassy, who was the one Republican who actually was nice to her in the hearing, but now he's talking about he's not going to vote for her because of her judicial philosophy, when over and over in the hearing she said, I have no judicial philosophy. So I don't know. It's just racism. I don't know how many ways that they can try to like circumnavigate the racism that we see, we clearly know and recognize, but here we are. So we'll see what happens on April 4th. I've been talking to members of the Black American family who are feeling very, very violent if this thing doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to turn out. And so, I want to at least give them an opportunity to do the right thing on April 4th and see what happens. But I think the culmination of what happened in January 6th of last year versus, what happened with her this year has got some people upset.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I think I tend to the more optimistic one. I mean, although I had a little doubts when you told me about the one senator who could be a wild card. Oh, there are two of them. Cinema. Yep. Is that Cinema?
Cinema and Mansion, yep.
Mansion, yeah, but it looks like they're gonna vote for her. And I think, in my estimation, you might even have one, at least one Republican voting for her, Collins or something like that. But yeah, she is highly qualified. If I'm not mistaken, are there any? I might correct me if I'm wrong. Are there any current Supreme Court justices who've been on all phases of the Circuit Court, Appellate Court, and all that before getting an opportunity to be appointed to?
Yeah, so most of them, they do like a fast track through the DC Circuit Court system because DC courts are technically like a federal court system in and of itself because DC is not a state. But what happens is, people are put on a short list based on all kinds of political maneuvering. So folks have their chosen candidate. Usually that is in line with what their political ideology is, even though judges aren't necessarily allowed to be quote unquote political. They're still usually going to have I guess they're just going to have a pattern to their judgment. So that pattern might be more conservative. Those are the people who we typically look at to say, oh, they're tough on crime or they're the people who are going to uphold high standards for everybody else and low standards for police, that kind of thing, versus someone who's more liberal and big on like freedoms. So the goal is to appear as neutral as possible to get through the process. But once you get the job, it's a lifetime job you have forever. So everybody's got opinions and experience and stuff that you can research and look up before they become Supreme Court justices. The problem is how much weight Congress puts on those opinions, because people like Amy Coney Barrett, who have ridiculously crazy right-wing opinions, they didn't put a lot of stock on it because the Republicans were in charge of the presidency and the Congress at the time, and they just fast-tracked her right on through. So what you are seeing right now on an objective standard is a judge who far surpasses everybody who has become a Supreme Court justice in the past 3 years. Like, just blows them out of the water. Opinions are better. She hasn't really given a political leaning. People assume that she's going to feel a certain liberal type of way because she's Black. Yeah, and we certainly hope that that's going to factor in somewhere down the line. But at the same time, when you just look at on paper qualifications, there's no scandals, no issues. I mean, even Clarence Thomas has scandals right now. So, so there's no scandals, no issues. She ain't got, she's not cheating on her husband with 5 different dudes. None of that stuff. She is as good as you can get. And what we are seeing is, despite everything she has done to set herself up in this position, you still are seeing racist people make up stuff. Now she's soft on, child porn out Washington. Yeah, like, it's ridiculous. And I just want to put out there, just so people know, the number of crimes in which the federal court has original jurisdiction over is very small. Like, most of the stuff that the federal court is dealing with, you only get in federal court if there's a constitutional violation or if there's a matter that crosses state lines. So even the biggest drug dealer in your state, as long as they're staying in the state, that's not going to be a federal court issue. Yeah. Right. So it's only a federal court issue when you become El Chapo, when you decide you go into other states and operate. So to nitpick on a certain type of case that is less than 3% of what is even handled is ridiculous. And then on top of that, she's consistent in what the sentencing guidelines have provided and what other conservative judges have done. So
exactly, yeah, that's what I was going to say. If I'm not, I mean, most of the people have the same. The judgment they've passed are just equal out. She has power, or she's even has a better record than those ones. But yet, that never came up when they were in the same seats. And interrupting her, and I like the way. I think she should have done that more often. How she, when they tried to interrupt her, and said that, Senator, respectfully, I think she should have done that more often, because some of the people were interrupting her far too much, and that's very disrespectful and aggressive and, off-putting.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Nkechi, we lost Nkechi. She's off camera now.
Let's see if we miss it.
Okay. All right. Well, in other news. Here. Oh, you're still there?
Yeah, I was just trying to change the location because it was looking a little dark.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. There we go. So, to the world, the lovely Nkechi, our co-host.
Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place today, so I'm not even going to lie. I woke up mad late. By the time I looked at my alarm, it was like 11, and I was like, wow, I have so much to do. So I've been running around trying to get my day started. Apologies.
Oh,
no problem.
No problem. Well, thank you for joining. In other news, I hope Michael is here with us, but
I know what we're about to discuss right now.
We're not really going to discuss it. Jesse wants to know a little more about it, but my dearly beloved countries. Well, I'm originally from Ghana. Of course, my allegiance is always going to go to Ghana first,
as it should.
But I do love that anytime Nigeria is playing a competition. I remember I was so happy when Nigeria won the gold medal in soccer in 1996.
So was I. I was a
I
kid.
was going
I
crazy.
know where I was, but I was a kid and I was just running around the room making noise. We were watching it in Budapest, so it was a family event. We're just sitting down
Oh
watching it,
wow!
and then when they won, we're just running around screaming. Ask us what we know about football.
Just
Nigeria was playing and
the fact that they won.
they
Well, my
It was
two
different.
memorable moments were in the semi-final against Brazil. They were down by 3-1, and if you
Yep.
know soccer, if you're down by 3-1, it's pretty much over. But they
Over,
came
yeah.
back, they fought, they tied the game, went into overtime, and Kanu, the retired Kanu, in Nwankwo Kanu,
Kanu Wankwo, yeah.
he pulled up like magic out of
Right.
nowhere and won the game. I mean, and then the final, I was just so happy. And I mean, there's been some disappointing moments in the World Cup when they were like much better, better than the opposing team, and lost.
Yeah. Argentina, Brazil. The list goes on and on.
Yes.
The list goes on and on.
But yeah. So, but they played yesterday for qualify for the World Cup, and I don't know why FIFA set it up that way, and it all goes down to the bottom line. I mean, why only 5 African countries representing the continent, out of 54 countries?
So what's the total number that goes to FIFA? 16?
32.
32. Okay.
So
And then
so then how do they decide? How do they decide?
16? Okay, 16 come out of Europe, so that's 50% already. And then out of Brazil, out of South America, another 5, I think.
It's that way. Why does Europe get? Is it because they created FIFA? Why do they get more?
Exactly.
Because we're the second largest continent.
Yeah, exactly. Asia just gets like 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, and I'm here complaining on behalf of Africa. Well then.
And interesting enough, they had a friendly game between Ivory Coast, who's been kicked out already, and France. And Ivory Coast, I don't know the final score, but the first half, Ivory Coast took them to school. It was 1-1. So one of the commentators like, listen, I wonder why Ivory Coast is not playing for rights to be in the World Cup. And look what they're doing to France, the defending world champions,
But you know what, Fred, to ask what you're saying, you know what the funny thing is? Every time an African country plays another, either European or whatever country, when it's a friendly match, we do so much better. It's like, because it's a friendly, then we're allowed to win. But then when it is like a match that counts for something.
Excuse me, good.
When it's a match that counts for something, next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, according to this was offside, or according to that, that's a red card, it's a yellow card. And it's like, okay, so is this not the same team that just beat you guys like maybe a month ago? So what has changed? It's a very interesting dynamic. Like for people outside of America, we're very big on FIFA. We're very big on the World Cup. We're very big on CAF and even UEFA. Sorry, I'm
so that's no, that's great. That's my question. So you have to forgive me because the extent of my exposure to soccer is like the FIFA video games, but I don't necessarily know how like they set up the competitions, because I thought it was like a round robin thing where everybody plays and then they determine based on points who gets to go where. But I don't know. So I would love to get an explanation on how it works. And then I ultimately have to pick a team to be loyal to. And I think the instruction given to me was whoever wins in Africa is the team.
Except for Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, and those ones. Egypt.
Oh, you like
Okay, Egypt, give them a pass, but they're playing Senegal, so I cannot pick Egypt over Senegal. With all due respect to Egypt, I think they lost. Senegal lost to Egypt yesterday by an own goal, but they go and play in Dakar next week. So hopefully Senegal pulls through. Senegal just won the African Cup.
CAF.
Yeah, just about a month ago.
It was a month ago.
Congratulations to them. And they've represented Africa twice, and they did a nice showing both times. They went all the way to the quarterfinals one time, the first time in 2002. and man, it just came so close for them to win to get to the semi-final. So no one, so Jesse, so no African country has been past the
The
quarterfinals.
quarterfinals, yeah.
Always some controversy that takes us out.
Right. Now,
Like-
just off the back of what Fred is about to say, most of the European teams, their best players are Africans.
Oh
So
yeah,
Fred
well,
just goes.
yeah. You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So-
just so you know.
So with Cameroon was the first to get to the quarterfinal. They get called for a penalty on 5 minutes to go. Jesse, 5 minutes to go against England. They get called. They were up by 2-1, and they got called. They get a penalty against them, and then England comes and knocks them out in overtime. Second team, Senegal, gets to the quarterfinal, and this dumb overtime rule, where they have certain that the first person to score wins, and then Turkey scores in overtime, and shatters Senegal and Africa's hope. The third team, I mean, I don't think I've ever been so sad in watching football before. Suarez, I know that's a bad word to say in Ghana or Africa. This player Suarez, Ghana is leading. No, it was 1-1, and then overtime, and Ghana has the ball in Uruguay's a team. Uruguay's box, and they keep pounding them, and somebody heads the ball, and it's about to go in the net, and the guy just takes his hands and pull the ball out of the net. So he gets a red card, he gets sent off, and we have a penalty. But unfortunately, striker misses that penalty, and they go to penalties, and Uruguay wins. And it's like it just tore our hearts apart because that was the first time they were playing on the African continent in South Africa.
In South Africa.
Yeah. So those are the three controversial times. Anytime the African team goes out, it's controversial.
Right.
Yeah, in the quarterfinal. So we hope for the better.
Fred, do you want to explain to Jesse what exactly football is? Because he said he thought it was just ring around the robin. I don't know what that is, but
round robin. Okay, so
round robin.
Everybody plays every.
So they have different zones. So they have the CAF, which is Confederation of African Football, African Football Federation. There's CAF. Then they have AFC, which is Asia. Then they have CONCACAF, which is US, Mexico, and the Central America. Then they have CONMEBOL, which is South America. Then there's is there another? Then there's Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, and the Oceania countries. And then am I forgetting one? And then of course Europe, UEFA. They seem to get all the love because
I mean, they get all the love because they poach all of the good players in Africa and then they give them jerseys. That's all that it is.
Yeah, so I mean, some of the good players, Mbappe from Cameroon is of
Cameroon
descent.
Yes.
N'Golo Kante, who is of I think he's, I don't know whether it's Senegal or Guinea, and then Pogba is of Guinean descent.
Guinean descent, yeah. Pogba. Well, most of the the French team. The French team, the year that they won, right? Their team was made up of, I think, 70% African players.
Yes,
I remember that.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, aren't you happy?
And so that's how it goes. So okay, so with these, they have their own, cups. They have the African Cup, they have the UEFA Cup, they have the CONMEBOL, the South America Cup. They call it Copa America. So they have all these cups, and whoever wins, and then they have different, to get to the final of that cup, you have to go through like a league, and then you go to the the quarterfinals, which is like win or go home, basically, like playoffs. Yeah.
Okay.
Like playoffs. So they have it in all the different confederations, and then we have the World Cup, where you have to qualify. I mean, there's so many countries in the world. How many? 200 now. So not everybody can come. So they have the qualifying, and then each each federation has their own, like a slot amount of a slot that they have to, like a number of teams that can only qualify. So UEFA, like I said, UEFA has 16. Europe, Africa has 5. South America has 6 or 7. I think they have 5 going from the get-go, and the 6th one has to play off with an Oceania team. Yeah, and then Asia has 3, I think. And then,
but if you win your geographic confederation's championship, you would automatically qualify for World
Not
Cup,
necessarily.
Right?
There's a difference between the like an African Cup and then an African World qualifying. There's a qualifying the World Cup qualifying series.
Yes.
For every confederation, so it's separate from their cups. So if you qualify for the World Cup, if you qualify through from your confederation, then you get to represent your continent or your federation for the World Cup. Yeah, so that's how it goes. Brazil has won the most with about 7. And of course they too are. I mean, you see most of the players they're better players are of African descent, like the world Pele. I'm sure everyone knows.
Yeah, Pele, and what's that other one? The young one that they compare to Pele now.
Ronaldinho.
No, not
Ronaldinho
him.
retired.
No, not him. He has a documentary on Netflix.
You're talking about Neymar?
Neymar. Yes,
Neymar,
him. Yeah. Apparently he's from the same region as Pele.
Pele, okay.
Yeah.
So Brazil has won the most. Okay,
so how do you describe football to somebody who has no idea?
So it's played with I think Caleb's ball. So I don't have it here, but I've shown you. So it's played with the ball just like most sports, and then it's 11 on 11. And I think that's how they got a model for football, American football. So it's originally called football in other parts of the world, except
for here. Except for here.
And there's been a little rivalry with that. So sometimes I even end up saying soccer in certain circles. They'll correct me like, no, it's football. And yeah, they're right, it is football. And surprisingly, when I was in college in the marketing class, a professor takes this is a white American professor. He takes a football and he lifts his eyes. So what's the name of this? Then people was like, oh, it's a soccer ball. And he said that, no, you ugly Americans, it's a football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he said that's the right name. And Kobe, even you hear Kobe saying that that was his first love, and that's the original football, he says. Okay, so you play with that, and it's 11 on 11, and then you have like 3 or 4 substitutes. I mean, like football, you have like 7 substitutes. They go on and off. But this, once you go off, you're done. And then whoever has the most goals win. You can win with 1. You can win with 5. I mean, I've heard of scores where they they won by 12 or 11.
Well, this is an interesting point that you bring up, because I also feel like in the United States, for some reason, soccer is marketed to white communities and not to black. So a lot of black people don't know about soccer, right? And white communities, if you go like prep schools and stuff, it's soccer, lacrosse, like those are sports that they have. But it seems like on a global scale, soccer seems to be like the sport of nations.
Yeah.
So
yes,
like America.
That's interesting. That's interesting to say that, but it is true.
They're now starting to put soccer on television here for like the LA Galaxy and like the bigger cities that have teams. Charlotte just started a team. I think this year was their first season, so they just started a professional soccer team. But that stuff doesn't get marketed to us at all, right? So you find out because they share a stadium with the Carolina Panthers. And because I'm on the Carolina Panthers listservs, they'll say, oh, by the way, we've got soccer tickets. What soccer tickets? What is that? So it doesn't get marketed to us in school or anything. And I wonder, it's just my conspiracy theory thought, but hearing what you say about how the European countries are taking African talent and putting it in other places, I wonder if the reason it's not marketed to us here is because they want to keep it white dominated and not have us learn how to play and dominate, because we took over everything else. Basketball's gone, American football's gone, baseball's gone.
Okay, I see.
It's a good theory. It is a good theory. I mean,
because
to look into, because
Fred, do you know? Because anytime I see the U.S. play, I don't know if I see any black people.
No, now what they're doing is they're recruiting. So when one of their former coaches was German, Jürgen Klinsmann. When he came on, he brought a lot of German, U.S. German, how do I say, U.S. German, Germans with dual citizenship in the U.S. Either they were born in the U.S. or they were born in Germany, but with two U.S. American parents. He brought about 5 or 6 of them on to beef up the team. Now, what I'm seeing is there's a lot more of that going on. Of course, in the U.S. it's a very diverse place. So now you have some Mexican Americans. You have people all the way from the Asia and all that stuff. They're all playing for the U.S. now. Now, anytime I see African American brothers playing, I mean, I've seen only a couple of them play. They are really good. Even someone like Odell Beckham, the wide receiver for St. Louis Rams, he's amazing. He can really play, and he's, I mean, because he was exposed to it. So if it's marketed more to the black community, I believe, we're probably going to take over that too, because, we dominated everything in basketball and football. And what else? What was the third one?
Baseball?
Yeah.
Baseball.
We were in it for a while, and then and then it got catered. So baseball is the sport that America used to take to countries that it has colonized. So people in Japan, people in South America, Central America, that's what we took, and people got really good at it. Mm-hmm. Right, Cuba, Dominican Republic, all that stuff. And and so those places produce really, really good baseball talent. Whereas here, because baseball has had a history of like extended lockouts and periods where there's no baseball, other sports were able to thrive. So black people were like, I don't want to do baseball because you might have 3 years you're not playing, as opposed to going to the NBA and having a players union and all that stuff. Plus, we excel at the sports that people tell us about. So we know that there's people that succeed in basketball, and basketball, it doesn't take a lot of money to play. You just need a ball and a hoop, right? Football, people give us all kinds of expensive equipment. Like I played football. They give us all kinds of expensive equipment to run into each other and knock each other's brain cells out. That's fun for America. They like look, we want to see these people kill each other. So, we'll do that because for a lot of people, particularly folks who grew up like me, this is your ticket out. Like you might not be the best student, you might not have the best opportunities, but if you can knock somebody's head off on the football field, somebody got a scholarship waiting for you to play for you, and you can change your whole family's trajectory. So what I'm saying is, I feel like I had not even heard about soccer until I know for me, and this people don't know, my very first sport actually was soccer.
Really?
My mom was always ahead of her time. She was like, I'm going to take you to this like white city and put you on the soccer team when I think I was 5 years old.
Really?
So I'm playing with like all white people. I have no clue what's going on. The coach is racist, so he doesn't talk to me. And I just basically sat on the sideline the whole year looking. And I was like, Ma, I don't want to do that anymore because I didn't know how to get to play. And she was like, well, I understand. I didn't pay money for you to sit there, but I wanted you to know. Didn't see soccer again until I was in college. So I was like, okay, I didn't even know how popular it was in the rest of the world. I was just like, okay, I see people playing. I thought that was what, 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds were playing at the time because that's what I knew. But now I started playing, in college, all kinds of video games when you're not, studying and stuff. And some people were like, oh, we want to play FIFA, right? FIFA soccer. So everybody picks their team. And at the time, you're picking teams based on the jerseys of the teams you heard about on ESPN. Everybody knows Pele. So you pick in Brazil. So that's just the way it was. And you play and you're like, oh, I didn't realize all these different countries have teams. So now you're learning, and now they progress the video game to the point where those federations that you were talking about are represented. So you can play like the federation specific leagues and all that stuff. And so I'm learning from video games, which is really sad. So I'm learning.
It's actually a good, believe it or not, it's actually a good way to learn it. One of my friends, he's also from Ghana. He never played, he never touched the ball until he started playing FIFA. And then after that, we hit the field, and he's picking up stuff from things he learned while playing. I mean, he wasn't the best, but at least he could, think before. But before, he said he never thought about any move before. He just kicked the ball, or whatever was in front of him. If it's a human, like kicking the breast. I mean, it can get a little physical, not as football, but it does get a little physical because sometimes you might be going to score and the defender has no choice but to bring you down.
Yeah, I used to play defense.
Oh,
Really?
okay. First-hand experience. She taking kneecaps off.
I used to play too, and I mean, that was my ticket. And someone said, yeah, all Fred did was intimidate people, and so if you could intimidate a striker, you have the battle won. So yeah, I always had my game face. I never smiled or laughed when I was on the field. So.
But honestly, football is very, very fun. I enjoyed it when I used to play. It's very, very fun. You get to meet people, you get to interact. Yeah. But you are right. Like Jesse, as you were speaking, I was thinking about all the white movies I've watched, and I've noticed like if it's set in the suburbs, the kids always play soccer. Like it's like, oh, my daughter has soccer practice, and it's like, wow, okay. I guess it's a thing. But like when it's other places or other urban, it's basketball.
Right, right. Yeah, and that's the thing. We got tons of people who I think would be interested if it was marketed to us. But because so many people, I'm sure I'm not alone, so many people who don't know about it and don't see it, when coaches see black kids, they think football, basketball. Like that's automatically what we're
exactly. And I believe, I dare to say that America would have done much better on the world stage if they had, there was marketed to the black community.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
But then, they can't be the boss of everything. So I'm glad it's not being marketed.
Right, because America will take it. Somebody the CIA listening to this right now, like, let's craft our team. Get Michael Jordan, LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. Like when they come to play, they play to win. That's it. So they're not playing games like, oh, let me get. No, they'll be like, who are the best players across the world? We're going to buy them. That's right. Then you have a whole team of like super players, robots coming and taking. It's like, oh god.
Right. Instead of a fighter jet right outside the stadium, and be like, you can win if you want to.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Wow.
Yeah, let's not do that.
So what brought about all this was because Ghana and Nigeria played, and so if you're just joining us,
0-0.
It was 0-0, and they play the second leg next week. So everything is at stake now. Now, how it happens, someone will say it's not fair. So someone could play 0-0 in one. So I could play 0-0 at home. When maybe Jesse comes to my place and we play 0-0. When I go to Jesse's place and we play 1-1, I get to move on because you're credited with an away goal. If you score on the road, you're credited with an extra point, so you get to move on. So if next week Ghana goes into Abuja and ties 1-1, Ghana gets to move on. But all Nigeria just has to do is score 1-0 and they'll move on to the World Cup. So that's how it works. And or if it's 0-0 at the end of regulation, they have to decide it by penalties. Yeah. And again, I mean, it's sad that we have to play each other. I mean, there's a rivalry.
Right. Instead of both of us being able to go to the World Cup.
I was kind of upset about that, but
so I'm confused. So the game yesterday was Kumasi, right? So
yes.
If you went in Kumasi and it was 0-0, doesn't that mean that Nigeria under that rule technically won?
No, they didn't play. They didn't score a goal. So if say if it was 1-1,
Okay.
if Nigeria had tied 1-1 and they went back to Abuja and was 0-0, Nigeria would have moved on. Will move on and qualify for the World Cup.
Okay, so
but
you have
because
to
it
at
was
least
0-0,
score a goal.
yeah, you have to at
I
least
got
score
you.
to
Okay.
get that away rule. Now, even if like say Ghana were to win 1-0 and Nigeria were to win 2-1, because of the away goal scored by Ghana, they'll move on. It gets a little tricky like that.
Okay.
They'll move on to the World Cup. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if it was the African Cup, I don't mind if Ghana beats Nigeria, but I mean, of course, I'm still gonna support Ghana, but I wish both of them, because when Ghana is not the second team, is Nigeria and then Senegal.
So where is the World Cup going to be the next time? Is it this year? It's supposed to be every 4 years or every
it's this year.
years?
It's this year in Qatar.
Oh, in Qatar. Okay.
Yeah, Qatar. Yeah, I think it's later in the year. It's usually supposed to be the summer.
Well, it's not being marketed well, because this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, it's in Qatar, Doha, Qatar. Yeah. So, yep. The last time it was in what was it last time?
Wasn't it
when France?
Was it
when
France?
France won? No, France won.
No, was it Japan?
Was it?
The last one I remember was Johannesburg with the Vuvuzelas.
Oh yeah, that was 2010.
Yeah. That was
No.
There was one that we played 2018. There was one we played 2018.
No, 2010. That was 2010 when Ghana went. The Vuvuzela. Ghana went to the quarterfinals and lost to Uruguay on penalties. Yeah, and then 2014 was Brazil, when Brazil got massacred by Germany. 7-1.
Y'all didn't hear about it because 2018 was apparently Russia.
Yeah, Russia. Yes, Russia. That's when Russia. That's when France won.
Yes.
You see, talking about Russia.
That's why we didn't get any information about it. It was filtered. Not touching that one.
All right. South Africa was 2010. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
Okay. South Africa was 2010. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Sure.
Yep. So, thanks for joining us. I told you.
Yes.
We're just talking about. If you missed the early part of the show, we're talking about the confirmation hearings of Judge Ketanji
Brown
Jackson. Yeah. And then she happens to have people in law enforcement. I think her brother is in law enforcement, right?
Oh yeah, I'm very nervous about the new standard that is being set, that you have to have support from the Fraternal Order of Police and the police unions in order to be a judge. That's scary.
This whole thing is scary. I was having a conversation with my mom. I was telling her, like, I find it's extremely not disrespectful, but very belittling, the questions that she has to go through. And I said, she's a better person than me, because my face would have told exactly how I was feeling. I'll be looking like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My eye roll would be so obvious. Every picture the paparazzi would take is my eye being rolling, because it's ridiculous. Even Ted Cruz's bumbling ass, my gosh. Ninja, you of all people, your immigrant ass, like, you're really asking her these stupid questions, and you're saying it with a straight face, like you're asking something that makes sense. Nah.
What did he say? He was like, if tomorrow I decided I was Asian, because that's how liberal sensibilities work, right? If I'm an Asian woman and I want to go sue Harvard. Like, yo, it's
and
ridiculous.
then okay, so within like the Black IG, what has been circulating has been the stupid Q&A that she had with that stupid lady where it's what is a woman, and then they were like, is this who you want to vote for? Is this who is your blah blah blah? She can't even define what a woman is. Do you know how many times I wanted to say, like, if people don't understand politics, if you don't understand what they're trying to do, you're always going to assume that this person doesn't understand the question. She's a smart lady. She's not going to put herself in a position where they're going to ask her questions that have nothing to do with anything that she's going to be doing moving forward. And then it's like, oh, but this is your take, you liberal black lady.
So
Well, like it's circulating like, oh, is this the new Supreme Justice that you guys want? Can't you see she can't even define what a woman is?
This is why I support.
It's a setup.
Define it for us, since everybody knows what it is.
This is why I support her so much, because I feel like we've already seen, we know about the history of racism in this country, and we see it in action daily. We've seen patriarchy, because there's no way Hillary Clinton lost an election against a Donald Trump. Like that, if we're talking about politics and we're talking about policy work, it's not even close. But we've seen it happen. But this is the first time where you're going to see the combination of racism,
yes,
and patriarchy
all coming together.
Yes,
yeah.
And you know, it's a really, really hard push, right? Because one of the things I like to tell my students, and this is a little history lesson here. In the history of the United States of America, there have only been 11 senators. Now, keep in mind, it's 100 senators at a time. There have been 11 black senators. The first one in 1870, but the first black female senator was 1993.
Wow.
So this is all new. Then on top of that, as far as the Supreme Court, there's only been 3. This will be the 3rd black Supreme Court justice if she's confirmed. There's only been 2, and one of them is questionable, right? Like Clarence Thomas is.
I was just about to say, I don't even know anymore. Like, who even? He pisses me off. Like, I'm not even going to lie. He pisses me off.
And all those moves are political, mainly because Thurgood Marshall was such a good Supreme Court justice that they wanted to maintain a standard of always having a black man on the Supreme Court in honor of Thurgood Marshall. But what George Bush, the first George Bush, said was, I can put a black person on the court, but I need a black person that thinks like me, right? A black person that doesn't like black people.
Right.
So he put Clarence Thomas on there, and Clarence Thomas had scandal upon scandal at EEOC for sexual harassment and all kinds of stuff. But they forced him through because they had power, right? And once they got him through, he becomes the quote unquote black Supreme Court justice, even though all of his decisions are really against black people.
Right.
So there's that. We have a way to turn the tide, but if you look at it, she's going to be, in my count, the 2nd black justice of the Supreme Court if she makes it, right? So we're talking about 11 senators in the history of the nation that were black, and we're talking 2 black Supreme Court justices in the history of the Supreme Court. I tell my students all the time, like, they argued a lot of questions with her about precedent and the importance of precedent. But the true precedent in America is taxation without representation. The country was founded by people who overthrew the crown because they were getting taxed without representation. So if we're getting legislation without adequate representation, what is the precedent? It should be to disrupt the regime, right? But they don't want you doing that. So that's the thing. Like, we're seeing white supremacy push back against qualified black people who are, despite all the obstacles, overcoming everything to still be there. And they still have to put up with the crap from all the questions, because if she does the eye roll, or if she twists her neck wrong, or if she says something wrong, then they win, right? Like, then they can say, oh, we knew it. Angry black woman. We can't have her on the court.
Right.
So it's hard for me to sit there and see people like take someone who's so qualified and be so disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
Yes,
So disrespectful.
So disrespectful. And ask questions that, like, it's sound bites for their, political media that they're talking through or whatever. But even some of this stuff, like that whole, am I Asian, am I a woman, I could be what I want to be, that kind of thing is ridiculous compared to the fact that they were just supporting a Supreme Court justice who had legitimate concerns about whether he raped someone. They were like, oh, no, boys will be boys. Send it through. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, told you corrected us. Yeah, it says the Qatar is in December. I thought so. I knew it was later in the year because the summers are too hot. It gets, steaming hot later. And it says, especially when you compare to the softball questions they asked Judge Barrage, the 5 protections of the First Amendment.
Right.
She,
Right.
she could only name 4.
Bro, she's the least qualified on that roster. I don't know why. Like, she's the least qualified.
It's the power of whiteness.
No, it's true. It really, really, really is. And I couldn't even sit through watching the questioning, because I was like, it's extremely unfair that as a Black woman in America in 2022, this is literally what we talk about when we talk about microaggression, when we talk about passive aggressiveness. It's not like, for them, it's not something that they do in front of you. It's the questions that they ask to make you seem as if you're dumb. They'll ask you dumb questions and then expect you to stoop down to their level to answer the question. And if you don't answer it according to what they think the answer is, then it's like, oh, okay. Oh, so you think you're better than us. All of this doesn't even make sense. And it like, for me, it infuriates me when I see other women doing the same thing. Then tomorrow they'll come and say, oh, let's fight for women's rights. Women's rights also includes Black women. We're women too. But you can't say let's fight for women's rights. Then when you're in a position of power, you take it upon yourself to make your fellow woman look stupid. You guys are already minority. Forget what the white guys are doing. You guys are already minority. You would think that it's like, okay, it's good to have another woman around. No, you're asking her stupid questions. Is it your hidden agenda to teach critical race theory? What are you like? What's all this that you guys are asking? Somebody should have even asked her, is it true that when you boil hot water to make tea, it's actually hot? Because that's how stupid the questions were sounding in my ear. It's like, you guys can't be this daft. Sorry, I'm ranting, but it's you guys really cannot be this daft. Asking her they didn't ask her any questions about her qualifications so much. They were just focusing on asking her. She's not the first Black person. Why didn't you guys ask Clarence, whatever the hell his name is, these questions? No. And then at the end of it, Mitch McConnell's old decrepit ass came and said he will not and cannot vote for her. Okay. Okay. Why? You saw her qualifications, and then, but that's how they pick. As a Black woman, when you apply for jobs, that's how they pick. Your resume is packed, you're overqualified, then it's like, yeah, I'm going to look for something to disqualify this person just because.
And what's funny is every Black person, especially every Black person in the United States, we know that because this happens every day, right? These are the decisions that police make when they pull us over. These decisions that jobs make when we apply.
Yes.
Like, this happens every day. But you would hope, because the farce that's told to us is, if you go to college, if you go get these degrees, if you go and become successful, you can be somebody and you can escape it. And it's not true, right? It's not true.
Yep, that's very true.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what happens. I mean, I'm always hesitant when something relies on white people.
Me too. Yeah, it's true. It's true, because you know how they're always saying, "Oh, there's some good white people."
Get it in writing. Get it in writing.
Yeah. Because even the people that were going the hardest towards her were Democrats. So. Yeah.
So,
anyways.
we'll see how it goes. But there's no reason why they should not confirm her. We'll say that. There's no reason why they should not. Whether they do or not is yet to be determined. But at the end of the day, I think it's also a good opportunity for the rest of us to brush up on civics and understand how government works, particularly the federal government, because the campaign so far is to smear misinformation and sound bites.
Yes.
And if you don't do your own research, or if you didn't watch the confirmation hearings in full, and you don't have context to what those sound bites go to, then you're going to fall for the trick of journalism, which is to tell you what you need to think as opposed to
exactly.
Shout out to Corey. Yeah. Yes, we needed that moment.
And that's I was expecting other Black people to rally around her and do the same thing. It's like she was just a wind in the willow or whatever, a leaf blowing, and then he just came and that's why she was in tears, because it's like, wow, she took a beating and then somebody was like, I'm sorry that you went through this and I support you. Meanwhile, everybody is looking at her acting as if they can't. I don't like stuff like that. I felt like she was being bullied. That's just my take. I felt like she was being bullied.
And just so you all know, so because I've had some friends that were like, "Oh, Cory Booker wasn't strong enough in his support." I just want to explain something. There is one black senator.
Are they serious? Are they serious? Whoever said that?
Yes. There's one black senator on the Judicial Affairs Committee in Senate. There's one. There's only 3 black senators in total in Senate, but one on Judicial Affairs, and that's Cory Booker, right? So for him, if he goes in there and he's, Minister Farrakhan, then that's going to have impacts on a whole bunch of stuff that he's trying to do. And no disrespect, I love Minister Farrakhan, but that's going to have significant impacts on what you can do as a government official. So he's not going to come out with the
swinging
next speech.
Yeah, he's not going to do that.
But he is going to come out and try to connect the fact that this is important not just to her and her family, but to all black people and to our ancestors and folks who couldn't be there. And what his message was telling you is what we hear in church all the time. You can't let devils steal your joy, right? So regardless of all the attacks and all the different shameful things that they do to try to come at her throat, at the end of the day, we know, all of us watching know that she is highly qualified. As a matter of fact, I'm of the opinion now, I think she's too good for America. I think America doesn't deserve her.
Yes, right? I agree. No, I agree. I definitely agree.
Absolutely. And so I just feel like we'll see what happens. But, the fact that this country would rather cling to being a racist relic of white supremacy speaks volumes in 2022.
Right.
As far as what progress really means in America. And that's why we need to be getting our passports together and just exploring other places. Like, see how you treat it in other places.
I definitely agree, because all this is for the birds. Like, it's Absolutely. So it's sad to even see, because if you're witnessing this at the higher level, think about the grassroots level.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg about what really goes on. Yeah.
Yep.
Toju says also I didn't see that, from Georgia, made sure to highlight her extreme qualifications.
I like Asif. I feel like so for people who don't know, this was the guy that back when we were trying to figure out what was going to happen with that split during the presidential election, Georgia had split and there were 2 Democrat Senate candidates that had a runoff. Yeah. He was one that won. So Stacey Abrams is like behind all of that. She awesome. Kudos to her. But he's in there because of Stacey Abrams, and I know he appreciates it. Yeah. So yes, I like him. I think that, I take everybody with a grain of salt, so I like him for now. But
well, you guys are making it seem like I think I'm the one more optimistic. I don't know about Toji, but I think she's gonna win it.
Listen. This is America. There's always something that comes out of the woodwork that surprises you. So
yes.
That's why it's like this week I've just been like.
The same thing happened when Obama started running for president. People were in doubt.
I'll tell you, the Obama thing is different, though. The Obama thing is different. Because, the standard, I feel like
90%
black people here is, if we get somebody who is 70% qualified and can hold a conversation, we're supporting. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
We're supporting you. And for us, we were all skeptical before Iowa. When the first caucus in Iowa happened and white people supported him, then we were all in. And I felt bad because, before that, we would tend to be, we have our issues with the Clintons. It's like an in-house conversation about, we don't like your crime bill and we ain't like the fact that you call us super predators. But at the same time, people who were around in 96 realized that we all had jobs and crime was at a record low because everybody was actually working. So we like, all right, Clinton got this in the bag. Hillary came out. She was like, y'all know my husband, jump on the team. And we were like, let's see how Barry do. Let's see how you do in Iowa. If he can convince the white people in Iowa to vote for him, we all in on Barry. He's one of us. And so I'm hoping that we will continue our trend of voting. And even like with this current election, Joe Biden didn't promise black people much. He promised us a Supreme Court justice. So far, he's delivering on the one thing that he told us. that was enough to be like, Trump, Biden, we hate Trump, and he's trying to send people to kill us. Joe Biden doesn't necessarily want us to be equal, but he's going to give us a lesson.
But he promised us this one thing. That tips the scale.
We have to ask for so little. You know,
like we say in Nigeria, half bread is better than none. Yes. Having half a bread is better than none, so we'll take it.
Our movement went from, I tell my students, the civil rights movement was for a slew of rights. We wanted voting rights, housing rights, we want all this stuff. And now we've been reduced to Black Lives Matter. Please don't kill us.
Right. Crazy.
And they're still having issues with that. Like, all lives matter. So I say all that to say, in 2 months, I'll be going to Ghana, and we're going to see how it looks. We're going to talk to the people on the ground and see how receptive they would be to someone like me, if the need arises for me to relocate.
To start making that move.
Yes, and I encourage Black people everywhere, really, but especially in America, get your passport, please, and start traveling. Not saying you got to move, like just go. In a day and age where so much stuff is done on the internet, like you don't even have to be here for business anymore. Like you can set your business up to operate how it needs to operate and get your money and send it to wherever you're going. So so definitely check it out, because I have no promises about where this country is gonna go. I think Black people have been fighting here for a long time, and I am not as patient as some of my forefathers.
I'm with you, Jesse. I am not that patient.
Yeah, not patient. I don't have any faith. I don't have confidence. And I hate to say that because I teach people for a living to have faith and confidence, but I don't.
Yes, well, after what we saw last week, is it any surprise? Is it a surprise?
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody has their problems. There's no perfect place. If there was a perfect place, I wouldn't be there. I get kicked out, right? But some places are more perfect than others. And it's about how are people going to treat you. I could really do without all the bells and whistles if I know that I'm going to be respected as a human being.
As a human being, at the bare minimum, yes, I agree.
Right. And sometimes those bells and whistles that they give you are just to disguise the fact that they don't treat you as a human being. Here's a PlayStation. Now get out there and get you.
PlayStation, bro. Oh, goodness.
Okay. I was just taking care of some behind the scenes stuff. Well, if you joined us, if you haven't done, oh wow, it's almost an hour already. Time flies by. If you haven't done so already, please do so by subscribing to our channel, following us on Instagram at the Pan Africana Show, and then like us on Facebook, Pan Africana Presents Afriscope, and also you can get some of these cool T-shirts. Yeah. And then I think the ladies T-shirts are even the best. I mean, anytime you see Nkechi wear hers, it's really...
The T-shirts are really nice. Unfortunately, I didn't put it on today. My apartment is piping hot, so...
Of course, yeah, it's dark. It's a darker color, so...
Yeah.
For me, I can afford to be in T-shirts. So. Yes. All right, so please do so, and I'll share the link to get the T-shirts, and you can also get a hoodie. It's a little cold that way, Jesse, and told you it gets colder, so you definitely need hoodies, and because you support us that way, we could keep this program going. Absolutely.
And we need some guests. We need people to reach out, because we want to hear from folks, from Black people from all over the world, wherever you are at. We will make it work for you. But please reach out to us, preferably on IG at the Pan Africana Show, so we can know who you are. I've been, I'm not going to say stalking. I've been reaching out to people on TikTok excessively. And I haven't gotten a lot of feedback yet from the people on TikTok because that's where I meet people who are from unique places. So if you are from a unique place or you have a unique story and you want to be on and talk to us, you know, we don't bite. Come on and let us know kind of what things are happening in your side of the world so we can all build this bridge that connects the diaspora, because it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to have people in all kinds of places and know a little bit about what's going on in the society around it.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we go, Nkechi, you have any words?
No. Have a good week, y'all. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this week we're not gonna have a what do you call it?
The trivia.
The trivia.
Wait.
Because told you it's just running up the score on us.
Wait, what? What's going on?
Oh,
you
didn't even get to talk about Justice Thomas' wife.
Oh yeah, well we alluded to it, but yeah, Justice Thomas's wife and her text messages trying to ask the government to overlook the election results. Just very interesting.
Really? She actually
and Clarence Thomas ended up.
Okay, so she's just being a white woman. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different when your spouse is a Supreme Court justice that might preside over that case. That's a little bit different. And he magically popped up in the hospital. I think the most ironic thing was while we're sitting here waiting for a black woman to potentially be confirmed to the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas ends up in the hospital, given the fact that he had all the sexual harassment allegations. Oh, the country we live in. It's such a...
I don't even know how they live in the same house.
Yeah, I mean, she treats him like a king. He loves it. You know, every video I've seen, she worships that man. Some people, that's what they want. You know, that's what they want.
Yeah, no, that's like living with the enemy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He thinks he is.
Let me fix my face. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. And he's a black man from Georgia. It's so many like levels of dysfunction.
Yes,
like,
so many different levels. The math is not mathing. I'll tell you that the math is not mathing.
It's not mathing. Yeah, but you know, weird things happen here, right? OJ Simpson has a Twitter page. So OJ Simpson's on Twitter and he just comments about random stuff, and white women love him. So I have no idea how this works. I was at a comedy show last night and the comedian was talking about how OJ rolled up in Vegas like a couple months ago, and white women were just like, "Oh, OJ, come to my hotel room." Okay, at this point, go for it, OJ. Do what you gotta do.
Wow. Okay. So then they don't think he committed the crime then, because again, the math is not mathing.
I don't know what they think, but I do know they don't care. That's they don't care. And I listen to OJ's opinions, and he doesn't have much to say about anything. So there's no engrossing conversation.
There's nothing he's talking about. There's nothing he's like. I fail to understand why they keep interviewing him. There's like, it's like you're asking an orange what its opinion is on a banana, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, why you guys keep putting him in the limelight?
Yeah. So you says they are more alike than we think. That's why we don't claim him.
Yep, I believe it. With Jimmy and Clarence Thomas. Yep.
And that's a spreadsheet shop, and you can go and purchase some of this cool merchandise.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, I told you you're due for a second sit down with us. So anytime,
I need a game night.
Welcome.
I need a game night. Bring me back. Game night.
Jesse. Oh, so Jesse, you do have FIFA, right? So next time I'm in North Carolina. Next time in Durham, we get to play each other.
Yes, I have an old version of FIFA for the PlayStation 3.
Wow, that's old. That's really old school.
It is.
Oh, sorry, I was about to shout. Sorry.
The PlayStation 3. You know, the best thing to come out of 2002.
That's how long it has been?
No, I don't know. I'm just making up stuff, but it's been a long time. They're on 5 now, and I don't plan on getting the 5.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right then. Take care. Tell me when. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Absolutely. We'll keep in touch. I just sent you a message. I don't know whether you got it. Told you. I sent told you a
Oh,
message.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Take care, everyone.
All
Thanks for
right. Have
joining
a good
us.
week, guys.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.
Bye.